Hey there, I'm King 5 meteorologist Ashley Ruiz with a look at your forecast. On this Sunday, we're in first alert weather mode. Today into Monday, it's because the high heat, and we're still going to have highs in the 80s and 90s, but temperatures will slowly start to drop as we head into each day into the new work week. Not just that, but our overnight temperatures are extremely warm, and so there's very little relief from the heat before we heat things right back up. Additionally, we'll have that enhanced fire danger, especially in the mountains. So critical fire risk up in the mountains, even in the lowlands. We know it's fire weather season, so it won't take much for something to spark. Going to be more human caused, but brush fires could start quickly. But the main concern will be up in the mountains, where we're going to have all of those components come together for fire, critical fire weather concerns. We could also have a couple of thunderstorms in the mountains into the early half of the work week. And the good thing with this, even though we don't want lightning, looks like these could be wet storms. So it wouldn't be just dry lightning, but something we're going to keep a very close eye on. If you want some cooler weather, it's coming. We just have to go through a couple of more days with temperatures well above normal. And record heat is possible, but for the date. Yesterday, we had record temperatures, or at least tied for yesterday's date. And these are daytime records, not all-time records. And since we're late in the summer, that means our records aren't all too high. So you see Olympia hit 93. The previous record was 93. Quileute, 88. The previous record, 85. And Bellingham also broke a previous record, but once again, 81 degrees. But you can see well above normal. Now today we'll have another go at potentially tying or breaking daytime record highs. Bellingham, the forecast calls for about 82, the previous record of 85. SeaTac, we're forecasting a high of about 90, previous record 88, and Olympia may come close to it as well. If you once again want some cooler weather, just wait a couple of days. If you are enjoying this heat, enjoying the sunshine, soak it up, because once again we have changes up ahead. But today, tomorrow, first alert weather mode to go with that heat advisory and extreme heat warning that's in place. And I'll break it down for you coming up. But then you see into the middle half of the week, we'll start to get an influence from troughing instead of this ridge of high pressure. And that's going to bring us the return of onshore winds. It's going to be gradual, but we'll finally get that natural AC once again. We'll have more clouds in place. And then Thursday into Friday, could have a system moving in that could bring us a couple of showers. And so we're going to have some cooler temperatures near, if not maybe below normal temperatures instead of well above normal. For the alerts that we have in place, 5 a.m. Tuesday is when it is set to expire. Extreme heat warning in place for King, Pierce, and the foothills and valleys. So Seattle, Tacoma included in this extreme heat warning, as well as the east side. This is where we'll have highs upper 80s, potentially upper 90s, but more so in the valleys and the foothills. The heat advisory, most of western Washington. In fact, the National Weather Service added portions of the strait, the northern Olympic Peninsula, including Port Angeles, under that heat advisory as of about 9 a.m. this morning. And as of about 9 a.m. this morning, Port Angeles was already at 80 degrees. So that just goes to show how warm it was overnight and how warm we're going to get today. I mentioned that we have that fire weather risk. I mentioned it several times. So now you know, and this shows the red flag warning is in place through tonight for the Eastern Olympics and then for the Western Cascades. But tomorrow we have a fire weather watch for the Cascades. This is where we're going to have very low relative humidity, temperatures in the 90s. We also have that dry and unstable air in place. So we'll have to watch for new fires to start, human caused if anything, but we'll also have to watch the Bear Gulch fire as well. Let's take you up to Hurricane Ridge. You see how dry it is. We have a little bit of haze off in the distance, but what a beautiful morning on the Olympic Peninsula and then in Olympic Pacific National Park. Up in Mount Rainier National Park, it's beautiful as well. You see a lot of people in shorts because it is going to be quite toasty. And the beach, the Pacific coast, just so beautiful. You can kind of see the marine layer off in the distance. It's peeling away, and it looks like some people maybe on the beach enjoying that nice little tide pool there. Now, as we get closer to the lowlands and the foothills, a look from Tacoma, it's hazy as can be out there. And this isn't necessarily wildfire smoke, it's also the pollution in place. We've had inversions over the last couple of mornings, and so that is going to lead to a lot of the pollution or wildfire smoke to really just get stuck at the surface, but it should gradually start to weaken. But the last couple of days, the haze just was stuck there where Mount Rainier was just almost covered. And each day, just watching it over the last couple of days, Mount Rainier disappears a little bit. The visibility not great. So air quality today going to run in that moderate category. And as I mentioned, the wildfire smoke risk, we could have some of that moving over the Cascades, and the light blue, that's indicating the smoke at the surface, but it also is light. Same for the Bear Gulch fire. That's where we'll have to watch for some of that light smoke haze. Then over the next couple of days, this is a computer model that just shows the progression of the smoke at the surface. But once again, you see those light blues. That means haze, if not light smoke at the surface or near the surface. Into Monday, same goes. It was along the crest of the Cascades as well as the foothills. Our air quality, again, running moderate from about Everett all the way down to Tacoma. Some spots in between Tacoma and Seattle, isolated spots, could drop in that unhealthy for sensitive groups, so that code orange. And of course, as always, as it's been, the closer you are to the Bear Gulch fire, that's where we could have some even lower air quality. So let's talk high temperatures. And I put the advisory and warning on here for you so you can see which areas are included in whether it's the warning or the advisory. So for today, Marble Mount around 96, typically a hot spot anyway. And then Bellingham 82, Anacortes in the upper 70s. Then we get to the Cascade foothills for Snohomish County, Monroe 90, Oso about 92, Darrington 94, and then for Central Sound and the foothills, Snoqualmie 90, Enumclaw 90, Renton 90, Bremerton as well, South Sound foothills mid 90s, low and mid 90s. If you live farther away from Puget Sound, you'll have a better shot to hit the mid 90s. Down I-5, mid-90s, closer to the beaches in the 60s, Forks 84. You can see that very sharp difference in terms of the temperatures. Once again, Port Angeles' temperature, the forecast model, completely busted. So temperatures likely going to be in the mid-80s there at least. And then over Hood Canal, lower 90s. And temperatures each day going to go down. And I'll show you. But overnight temperatures once again in the 50s and 60s. And that's the morning low, which usually is achieved before sunrise. So that means most of the night is still going to be generally in the 70s and then slowly cooling into the 60s and maybe a few upper 50s by morning. Let's talk about Monday's forecast highs. Still showing you the advisory and the warning. We have highs in the mid and upper 80s for much of Puget Sound except up the I-5 corridor, upper 80s, lower 90s. But the coast, Quileute 72, which Quileute, as you saw, 88. And so that was yesterday, so a big change. Hoquiam 69. Then we get into Tuesday. We cool even more. We're getting that return of onshore winds, and we're feeling that influence from that trough. And so upper 70s to our north, mid and upper 80s for much of Puget Sound, at least central and south sound. But the coast, even cooler, upper 60s. So you see the pattern where we're headed. Let's talk about that potential for a couple of mountain thunderstorms. Today, not so much. We'll just have some passing high clouds into our Monday, likely going to start things off with some more high clouds and then maybe some marine fog closer to the coast. Then we get into Monday afternoon. Now, the Storm Prediction Center is highlighting portions of the Cascades and foothills, saying there's the potential for a general thunderstorm. So a quick little thunderstorm. Tomorrow, not seeing it as much, but there is that potential. But Tuesday, the futurecast is picking up on that potential. You see how it just bubbles up into Tuesday afternoon. We have that heat instability. It's not going to take much for some thunderstorms to pop up. We also will have moisture in place, which, once again, a good thing. So it wouldn't be dry lightning. These would have rain within them and a good amount of precipitation and moisture within it. So less likely to see any lightning spark fires. And even if we did, rain would help control that. So we'll see. We'll keep you posted on air and online. So enjoy the next couple of days. Go out, enjoy the beautiful sunshine, whether you're getting on the water. Going to be the best place to be. If you just want to dip your toes in, go for a swim, do so safely, of course. And then over the next couple of days into the new work week, maybe an abbreviated work week for you, heading into Labor Day weekend, temperatures gradually cooling. And then into Thursday and Friday, maybe a couple of showers for us. I'm not totally convinced just yet, but I do see the potential for a couple of showers and a good chance maybe for a couple of showers inland on Saturday, but the best chance for now looks to be more so over the coast heading into the weekend. Beyond the 7-day forecast and into the first couple of days of September, temperatures look to be closer to normal, but this time last week or 2 weeks ago, it didn't look like we would have this extreme heat. So the long range forecasts tend to change, will likely change, especially as we get closer and closer to early September. But all in all, it is going to be just hot the next couple of days. We are toward the end of summer, heading into fall, getting ahead of myself there. We're officially less than a month away, so still plenty of summer to enjoy. Don't forget, you can always find the latest forecast on air, online, king5.com and King 5 Plus.